Hey everyone, and welcome as we continue our study through the New Testament, looking at the 250 events in the life of Jesus. Today we are looking at Jesus healing all who touched him. So if you looked at yesterday's video and listened to it, we see that Jesus walked on the water. Peter walked on the water with him, and after this they climbed back on the boat and they finished going across the lake and went to a town across the other side of the lake. And when the people there recognized Jesus, the news of his arrival spread really quickly. And this would happen anytime, Jesus had become really popular at this point. And and people were bringing all their sick to him to be healed. And they begged him to just let the sick touch at least the fringe of his robe, and all who touched him were healed. And so that's, again, we saw that with the lady, the bleeding woman, and her, she just touched the fringe of his garment. And it's the same thing. If they had the faith that, touching it would heal him, it would heal him. And so that was why all these people were coming to Jesus. And so, kind of the point of this one, this is going to be a short video today, but the kind of the point of this one is the people recognized who Jesus was, and they recognized, I'm sorry, they recognized him as a great healer. A lot of them didn't fully recognize who he was, but and so that was part of the thing is how many of these people truly realized who he was, or were they just there because, hey, this man can heal you, and so that's why they came, or there was something good out of it. And so a lot of people might follow Jesus to learn valuable lessons from his life, but others a lot of times will follow Jesus sometimes just for what they can get out of it, right? Because they know, that's why you see a lot of people who, growing up in the church, I saw this a lot where there's people who pray on the churches because they know that, and I don't think these people particularly were doing that, but they know they can go to the church and the church is going to help them whether they commit to Jesus or not. Now, we should do that. I'm not saying we shouldn't do that. We do need to be good stewards with what God has given us, and not just, if we know someone's trying to rip us off 100%, then we don't need to let that happen. But there were people who came to Jesus just for the fact of being healed, and they weren't looking for anything else. And we see that today, right? There's people who come to the church, come to Jesus, right? And a lot of it is just for, particular things. What can the church do for me? Or maybe I can benefit from it. And so the fact is a lot of times we miss the whole message if we're only looking to heal our bodies but not our souls, right? Or if we're looking just for our physical needs and not our spirituals, right? If we look to him to help with only in this life, right, with things only in this life instead of the eternal, that's not going to be good for us. And so we need to encourage, if we might suspect that someone's doing it, or we might think someone's doing it. If we see that, we might encourage them a little bit along, a little bit more spiritual. Because the truth is only when we understand the real Jesus Christ can we appreciate how he can truly change our lives, right? Jesus was involved in a lot of these people's lives. He may have only been around some of them for 5 or 10 minutes, healed them, right? And he still changed their lives, but he just changed the physical side of their lives. They weren't changed spiritually. And so what we need to make sure, when we've talked about this and we see this a lot, is that we do as a church and as Christians focus on the physical need. A lot of times I'll say, and I'll say this: we need to touch the physical side first. Hit the physical need first, because then you're open. Then you can open up to the spiritual side. I mean, and the reason I say this is because that was the model Jesus used. Almost every single time you see him, he hit on a physical need first, and then he went to the spiritual. He never started, I say never. He typically very rarely started with the spiritual and went to the physical. It was always, hey, let me take care of a physical need first, and then I can help you with something spiritual. Because a lot of these people were at the rock bottom. A lot of them had, they had tried everything. Jesus was their last hope. And so maybe we can be the last hope for someone and help them out. And that be an opportunity for us to not only meet a physical need, but to meet a spiritual need as well, and introduce them to Jesus. Because that's what Jesus was doing here. And so what we see in this passage is just the fact that Jesus would go and he had compassion for people, and all they had to do in this instance was touch the fringe of his garment and they were healed. And so he went and he continued to heal people as he went through his towns. Again, it doesn't say it here, but we know he was teaching his message, talking about the kingdom as he went. And so this is just an example of a continuation of how we need, as Christians need to be. We need to make sure we understand and go after the physical needs of people, even though there's a good possibility that, you know, some, if not most of them, may not ever come to Christ. But at least at least that seed's planted, and then there will be opportunity to reach those who will, want the spiritual and be looking for the spiritual need as well. So, as always, I appreciate everyone for watching these. If ask that you continue to share them. Continue if you think it's helpful for anyone. Please do that. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that. We're going to continue to publish these videos daily, and we're going to get into some deeper studies later on in the year as we get done going through the Gospels. And as always, I really appreciate everyone for watching.